Hey everyone, welcome back to Loud Mom's Lair. I'm Tara.
And I'm Kristen. As always, let's get started with our check-ins for the week. Tara, how is everything going?
Everything's going pretty good. This last week was really, really good. Liv started her new school, and we were obviously very anxious about how that was going to go and how she was going to acclimate to it. I cannot tell you how big of a weight came off of our shoulders because she has been loving this new school.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, she gets excited to go in the morning, and then she gets really excited when we pick her up in the afternoon, and she like shows us around the classroom and shows us her teachers, and she just like I am so proud of her. Like she
Oh,
has
that's awesome.
acclimated so well, and yeah, it's just a huge weight off the shoulders when, a new school or daycare or whatever caretaker, like it works out, right?
Yeah. I'm going to check that off my list because actually I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you that yesterday in text, but then I was like,
Yeah.
well, let's just
I guess
wait.
I'll save it for the potty.
Yes. So that's good. That's awesome to hear. She's showing the new school off to her parents. That's so cute.
She really is. And she's just the freaking best. It was a good week, but like, yeah, I mean, work's crazy. Work always sucks, but I mean, it doesn't suck, but like, you know what I mean? I wish I could retire, but
Same.
that's not going to happen. But yeah, we're meeting new neighbors. We're really enjoying our neighbors. So that's going well. And, yeah, I got Botox. So like, you're going to see that my forehead is very frozen. So it like does not move, but the parts that do move, which is I don't know if it's a Botox fail or not, but like you can the arches of my eyebrows are the only things that move. So it looks really angry if I try to move my forehead. So for everyone watching, I'll just show you. But like if you go like this, you go only the corners go up.
The angry emoji.
It is legit the angry emoji. And it's just, it is what it is. It's my third round of Botox, and like, I'm just living my life. It's fine. It'll wear off in 3 to 4 months.
Right.
But
you won't have
anyway,
angry eyebrows. It's okay.
yeah, I just wanted to try out a new look. We're just living our best life over here.
Exactly. Do what you got to do, sister.
Yeah. How was your week though?
I'm sorry if you can tell. I'm extremely sunburned.
Go up a little bit.
Like my neck is so, and it's so funny because you can see like clearly from where I was sitting in a chair rather than laying because my neck is like white, and then my chest. I seriously feel like this is the most burnt I've ever been in my entire life, which may not be true.
Really?
But I hurt so bad. I thought today I would wake up feeling a little bit more normal because it's been a couple days. No, I hurt so much more than I thought I was going to. And now it's like in like right by kind of like my armpit, like right here. So whenever I like lift up my arm, it hurts so bad. And trying to tell a 2-year-old to not touch me or scratch me is so hard because even so, yes, he'll want to like play or something and he doesn't mean to, but he, like, I'm like, don't touch me. It hurts so bad.
He thinks he's like doing something wrong, and obviously he's not.
And today I was like, okay, put your hand out like a high five and just touch my chest. I was like, doesn't it feel so warm? He's like, ooh, that's hot. I was like, I know. I said, so that's why I don't want you to touch me because it hurts so bad.
Oh, poor thing.
I've been having him put like aloe. Right. I've been having him put like aloe on my arms.
Ooh, do you keep the aloe like in the fridge to keep it cold? Oh,
yeah,
that's the best.
But sometimes I'm like, oh, that's too cold. I don't like it right now. But I know it's
and then the goosebumps hurt too.
Yes. So other than that, I mean, it's been good. Braxton's actually had the entire week off. I think his daycare is on vacation or something. He goes back tomorrow for
when his daycare's on vacation.
Whatever.
Today.
yes, right. He goes back for one day tomorrow, and then he's off on Friday. So, I mean, he's been hanging out with Dad, going to work with him and stuff. So
Oh,
it's
has he
been
been
good.
enjoying that?
He does. Yeah. He thinks it's fun.
That's
He gets to help find the cracks to caulk and stuff like that. So,
that's
he
adorable.
comes home and he's like, I was such a big helper today. That's great.
Were you?
Yeah. I said, did your dad give you money? No. Oh, well, cheap.
Obviously, you weren't that good.
Right. But it's been a good week other than getting fried, which I realized that I'm a big, I don't like suntan lotion. I like the oil that has like 5 SPF in it. So, I
Yep.
spray, blah, blah, blah. Well, I forgot that last summer I didn't have any of the oil, so I decided to put baby oil in there, and I was just going to like
Is
limit.
that why?
Well, I went in and I put it back in the cupboard closet the other day, and I noticed I had a full bottle of the oil, and it wasn't opened. So yes, I was using baby oil instead of the actual suntan oil. So I believe that's why I am so fried.
Oh my God, that's the worst. That's absolutely why you're so fried.
Yes. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully it
I
turns
feel like
into a
you
good
tan
tan.
pretty well too.
I
Like
do, yeah. I got the
with
good
more
skin.
than -5 SPF.
Yeah. I got the good Lair skin, so
Yeah. Yeah. I did not. Pale as a ghost.
sorry about that.
Oh my God. Well, let's go ahead and kick this episode off with our little cheers. You guys, we are officially into the double digits of our episode number. So we are on episode number 10. So cheers to that. Cheers.
Cheers. So last week, we talked about different sleep techniques and what we used, what maybe worked for us, what didn't. This week, we wanted to get into kids getting hurt. How did us
Because
parents
why
cope
wouldn't
with
we want to
it?
talk about that?
Exactly. How the kids cope with it. Did we have any type of guilt that went along with that? So to kick it off, I'm just going to say my child gets hurt all the time. He does not pay attention at all to what he's doing. He either is running into something, falling into something, tripping over his own freaking feet most of the time is honestly how he gets hurt. The meme, I always love to go back to this, the meme where it says, have kids, they say it's fun or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
It's fun, they say.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Or the meme, have a boy, they say it's fun. Oh my God. Well, I'm surprised I haven't had a heart attack yet.
Oh my God.
And knock on wood, thank God we haven't actually had to go like to the hospital or anything like that. No broken bones in this house, knock on wood at this time. Let's hope it stays.
Lucky.
Oh my God, yes, Linda has. That's right.
Oh yeah. No, kids get hurt all the freaking time. And like that is something they don't teach you or they don't prep you. And I don't know who they is because it's just what do you hear through the grapevine or like the hospital class that you take during your pregnancy, right?
Oh God, I didn't take that.
Oh. Well, okay, well I did. Yeah, and they don't tell you that like you have to be prepared for these kids to literally get scrapes and bruises and potential broken bones or just falling literally left and right. They're like Bambi with like the little rickety legs and they're just like falling all the time. I swear their balance sucks. Like it's awful.
All the time. And you think it would like defer them from doing that? No, not at all. Not at all.
They literally do it immediately after again. It's
yeah.
How did you not learn? You just fell backwards off the couch. Like, oh, let me go scale the couch again.
Where I'm at like a point where I get so nervous when he gets around like the corner of an end table or something. And I always have to tell him now, all right, whatever, if you want to stay there, you're going to crack your head open and we're going to go to the hospital. Because it's like, dude.
But you're not wrong.
I know.
You're
And
not
shit,
wrong.
I don't want to freaking see that either. Like, no.
Right.
Please.
You think I want to clean up your blood?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So speaking of, since, you know, obviously the whole episode is kids getting hurt.
Speaking of blood.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest ones, for some reason, my child, when he falls, he hits his face and he always has a busted lip.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
And I think the first time he ever got that was he fell off the couch, or he was probably jumping off the couch and hit his face, probably, and hit his face on the floor. And it was like, I think his tooth like cut his lip. So anybody who knows me, I am not a blood fan. I get dizzy when I get a paper cut.
A paper cut?
I'm telling you, if I look at it for too long, I'm like, whoa, I've got to sit down. I start getting like the sweats and dizzy. So when it's so funny, my parents are always like, how in the world are you ever going to have kids? You know, what are you going to do? Well,
but what did you do? Like, so when you gave birth, they don't come out clean. So like,
no,
did that gross you out?
No, it didn't.
Oh.
I think like once, I guess I'm in the I don't know.
And if anyone's listening that hasn't had kids yet, like, it is not a clean situation. And there are things that you just didn't even know existed that come out with that baby.
I must not have really been paying attention, because then they put him in a blanket. Wait, do they? No, they don't put him in a blanket right away.
They put him right on your belly or right on your chest.
I must have not have been paying attention. I must have been like, I don't freaking care.
You were just lost in the love of your new child.
It's beautifulness, right?
Naughty.
So he fell off the couch, busted his lip, and it's like bleeding. And of course, you know, all he wants is, oh, mom. He's a very big mama's boy. So anytime he gets hurt, of course, okay, well, let me see. Well, there's blood, and I'm like, bro. And so the next thing, I'm like, oh my God, what if I see like his tooth poke through or something? So then I start freaking out even more. Well, there were other people there, so I think that's why I was freaking out more, is because I knew somebody else could take care of him at that time. And they're like, Chrissy, what are you going to do when you're alone? Like, let's say you're alone and something like this happens. What are you going to do? Yeah. They're like, is Braxton going to have to call 911 for you because you fainted on the floor?
Oh my God.
So it did happen. It did happen when I was alone with him, though. We were outside. This freaking kid tripped over his damn Crocs that he wears and face plant on the concrete. No. Blood. Just. Stop. And I was wearing this sweater, this cream sweater. No, the laundry did good. I got out. Cream sweater. So I got blood on there, but I did so good. And I think it was because I was by myself and I knew I had to be the one to be okay, pretty much.
It's like a fight or flight. You just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good example, but you know,
well,
you know what I'm trying to say.
And I mean, really, it's so funny because speaking of how like he coped with it, he obviously cried and was upset and stuff, but then he was fine. It was almost like, oh, it didn't happen. You know, I get a popsicle afterwards, so whatever. You
guys do that too?
Oh, hell yeah. Every time he busts his lip, I'm like, yo, you want a popsicle?
I mean, it works.
Yeah, you got to try and get that down a little bit. Okay, so.
Wait, so what's your biggest, like, besides like him busting his lip, is that like the worst he's had it? Like, what's the worst thing that's happened to him injury wise?
Honestly,
do you think that's probably the most traumatic so far?
I think that's the worst. And then the next day he went to daycare and he reopened it because he freaking fell on the concrete again. I'm like, dude.
Was he wearing his Crocs again?
Yeah, probably. You shouldn't be wearing those freaking shoes outside if you're running around.
Well, you probably should just throw away the Crocs.
No.
I know. I will admit, we just got our first pair of Crocs for Liv,
Oh,
and
so cute.
they're freaking adorable. And she's like in a big Frozen stage because what little kid doesn't go through a Frozen stage?
Right.
Or at least a girl. I can't speak for boys, but like
Right.
she's got her Anna and Elsa Crocs, and they're like a size too big because they came in like two sizes ranges.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go too small, so I went a size up, and like,
Well, now she can have them for a while too. So
yeah, but she thinks they fit now, and so she wants to run in them, and I'm like, oh girl, like we just need to calm down.
they think everything fits them. It's so funny. You put shoes away that are too small, and it's like, no, these fit. You can't even get your toe in there.
This Braxton, Liv will come to me and be like, she'll be so proud of herself after getting her shoes on, and they're on the wrong damn feet, and I'm like, girl, how is this feel okay?
I will admit, he's actually very good at putting his shoes on the right feet, because we like made sure to pretty much drill that in his brain because of that. I'm like, that's not going to be comfortable, and it's going to make you fall even more. So every time he would put them on, we're like, nope, right foot, wrong foot, like left, right. This is what it is.
I think someone at daycare, not this current one, I think it was at her old school, taught her to like put the sole of the shoe on the foot. And if the arch lines up, like that is the correct shoe, which is wrong. That's the opposite shoe if they match up. So she does it because I'll walk in and I'll see her lining up the shoe on her foot. And I'm like, well, that's adorable. But like, I know where you're going with this and it's not correct.
You got it wrong.
Yeah.
Try again.
I know. She tries. The effort is there. She knows how to like get them on and off and Velcro them and everything. So I guess that's good.
Yeah. There you go.
But,
what is okay, I kind of know the story, but tell everybody. What is Liv's worst?
Let me take a sip of coffee. Okay, so we have had a broken bone, just one so far. I'm sure there's plenty more to come, but we've had a broken bone and it was her collarbone, which I guess is more common than people think, more than I thought at least.
Right.
You never want to be that parent that like the injury happens on your clock, right? Like if you are the primary parent during that moment, you never want the injury to happen during that time. You want it to happen on the other parent's time so you're not to blame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, I was on the clock and we were playing horsey. So I'm sure everyone knows what horsey is, but Liv was riding on my back while I'm on all fours and I'm the horse and it's fine.
Why does it always have to be the animals or monsters or whatever?
I don't know. Like, when is it my turn to ride?
You're back.
I mean, I'm gonna start Matt freaking charges her $0.25 every time she rides.
That's awesome.
It's so funny. He's like, all right, put the quarter in, and she'll go.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I love that.
Yeah. So I was the horse. She was riding, and like we were in her bedroom at the old house, and like it's on carpet, so we're good. But like I said earlier, they stick with balance, and like she was at the stage where like we would try to keep an arm back there just to kind of steady her as we were going very slow, like a turtle, not really a horse galloping. And all of a sudden I felt her starting to slip. And so like I went to hold even more. I think it was on the opposite side than I was holding. And she started to fall. I tried catching her and I couldn't catch her. And see the eyebrow, it went up. And she fell right on her shoulder and she fell on her side and she kind of like froze and she was like, and like didn't scream, just was silent, and which was a huge indicator that something was wrong. And because drama queen. And she froze, and then all of a sudden she like stood up and she wasn't really like using her arm. And I was like, huh, that's weird. That's not normal,
Yeah.
And we would like go to pick her up under her armpits, but like if you're raising the whole shoulder blade area, rotator cuff, whatever, like she would cry out. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, are you okay?" So we'd have to like kind of pick up from the rib area, and or like from under the legs or whatnot. And we we were gonna take her to urgent care. We called the nurse line and they're like, just see how it plays out like until tomorrow and then assess from there. I was like, okay. She was fine. She only cried out like if we picked her up there, but she still had minimal movement with her arm, or she was kind of like favoring a side. And but she wasn't crying or sobbing or whatnot.
Right.
So we ended up taking her to our urgent care the next day because it was still the same. And they could not get her to sit still. No, they could not figure out their x-ray machine, and they were awful with the x-ray machine, and it was a
Oh,
very old x-ray machine. So they keep doing shot after shot and she's laying still. But like
yeah.
you can't keep a 2-year-old still for very long. And
No.
also, I don't want, or we didn't want more radiation going into her. I know it's so minimal, everyone who has a medical background, like I understand that, but like still, she's 2. And
Yeah.
also the doctor made a comment
Right.
saying like we don't want to do too many x-rays because of the radiation.
Yeah.
Uh
Thanks for putting that in my head too.
right. Like literally right before we go into the x-ray room, she says that. I'm like, okay. She's like, we're only going to do 1 shot because we want to limit the radiation. We're like, perfect. 5 shots later, they're like, we
Oh
still don't
yeah.
have a good shot. We're like, we're going to call it. Like, it is
Yeah,
what
we're
it
done.
is. Can you refer us to an orthopedic um place so we can actually be seen by a specialist? So we ended up going to an orthopedic surgeon, doctor's office or whatnot, and they took 1 shot because they're just great at their job, and they saw a hairline fracture. Long story short, she broke her collarbone, and there's nothing you can do for a collarbone, and that's the worst part. Is like you literally just have to stabilize the area. But because she's so little, or was so little then, and she still is little, but like she none of the splints or anything fit her. So we just had to ace bandage her arm like to her side and just like
Oh my God.
stabilize it
Yeah.
that way. I shit you not, we had to keep her stabilized for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. A 2-year-old,
Oh my
which
God. I
she
didn't
was
know it was that long.
6 weeks. And also this happened right before her birthday. And
Oh
we
yeah.
so she was wrapped up for her birthday, and it just sucked. And like at n- we eventually worked up to where we could take it off at night, but at first we weren't allowed to take it off at night. But
Right.
as like I think it was like after 2 weeks we were allowed to take it off at night, and but during the day it had to be stabilized and it had to be wrapped. But it's like what ace bandages will stay still with a 2-year-old moving constantly?
Yeah.
And like they're roughhousing, they're falling off couches, they're wanting to run. Also, like
Yeah.
talk about bad balance. Now you only have 1 working arm and it's like
Right.
really off balance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and then I just felt so guilty. It's like, what could I have done in that situation? Like, I there was nothing I could have done. I if
Well, and you don't think that it's not like you were super far from the ground. You wouldn't think that
mm,
that would have happened
yeah,
because
like I know I'm
it's not
tall,
like
but
she was
like not that
falling. So,
tall.
right, right. So
Yeah,
okay, so how did she deal with that? Especially having to be ace bandage for six
yeah,
weeks.
yeah. Well, we were nervous because she it was her left arm, fortunately. So she still had her right arm. She is a righty. And so she had her dominant arm, which was super helpful, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but she acclimated so well and she just figured it out. And kids are just so resilient and
Yeah.
is malleable a correct word to say this time, but like they're moldable, they're able to mend and to like whatever is needed. And she needed to use only 1 arm and she worked it out. She was able to get off the chair or the couch. She was able to stand up on her own. She would just roll over a little bit.
Yeah.
No, but she did really well, and it was quite surprising, honestly, because we didn't expect that.
Right. How did she sleep? I mean, is she a big mover anyway or no?
Yeah, yeah. So during the injury part, I think she learned to not move too much because the first probably 2 weeks, I would say, she was still wrapped up, right? So that part she would cry out like every so often. And we had to make sure that it was snug enough to stay put, but
Kind of like
like
a
not too
swaddle
tight.
again, right?
Yes. Yeah, right. But I guess we're great at swaddling. So yeah, lesson learned during the swaddle phases. But we got ace bandages that velcroed and they were like super thick, like super wide. And so that we just wrapped that around and um but yeah, anyway, she figured out sleeping pretty quickly and then I think she just stopped rolling as much as she used to. So I guess
Yeah.
I guess it kind of all worked out for her, honestly.
Did okay, has she had any like daycare accidents or injuries?
Let me tell you. So she had at her first daycare, she had a biter that
Ooh.
she was unfortunately like the target of. So she got bit a few times, which you can only control kids so much, right? And like most kids go through a biting stage and we totally accept that and knew that, right? And like during her getting bitten, we knew it was a thing. But the thing that we weren't the message that didn't come across is like, okay, you're telling us that you separate them, right? You're giving us incident reports, you're giving the other kid incident reports, but like, how many times is too many times until you like swap classes for one of them? Or like, if you're telling us that she's the target and it's been happening multiple times, you obviously are identifying that there is a issue
Yeah.
between both Liv and this other kid, right? And and then on top of the biting, he would pull her hair. So like anytime she would have a ponytail or pigtails, he would go after her and pull them. And so, but it was
She around the
only
same
her.
age?
Yeah, they were in this, yeah.
Okay.
I think he was a little bit older, but she's small too. So
Right.
like I'm there's this one picture of like her classmates and everything. She's like the tiniest one, minus like
Yeah.
one other boy, but like all of the girls and boys in that class were just massive compared to her. And I mean, she's in the fifth percentile of her weight like
Yeah.
range, and she's always been in that percentile, and she's just a twig.
Yeah.
But uh,
She's so petite.
she's so petite, it's
She's gonna
insane.
be like in double zeros when she's like our age.
What a wench!
I know.
But I mean, she probably will. Like, she's still in 24-month pants.
Yeah.
Or just a little waste. But anyway, yeah, so this kid would pull her hair and it's like, hey, you got biting, you got hair pulling. They would get to a point where they would just like take her hair ties out and just keep her hair down because they didn't want to create a ponytail for this boy to pull. And I was like, how is that you are modifying our kid's hair and now it's all in her face and she was in the stage of
Yeah.
like allergies and a lot of boogers and whatnot, but like
Yeah. Right.
and they
And
were
sweaty.
horrible with
Yeah.
yeah, they were horrible with cleaning the kids, like it which was a whole nother animal. But like how how do you have to change why do you have to change our kid's stuff when she's
Yeah.
not doing anything wrong and she's the
Right.
quote unquote victim in that situation? But like put the kid in a different class.
Yeah.
Or like I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm sure it's stressful for the other parents too, right? Like
Well,
nobody
you would
wants
hope
to have the
so.
biter as a kid. Yeah, you
Yeah.
would hope. Yeah. But like I know
Because
at least I would hate being the biter's parents.
I would feel so terrible that I
Right.
probably would be like, okay, is there something we can do? Can we
Yes.
put, let's say, my kid in a different class? Or I mean, because yes, you can talk to your child, but again, they're two. How much are
They're
they
cute. Yeah.
actually going to
Right.
be like, okay, I'm really not supposed to do this?
Right. Right. Yeah. And yeah. And so we understood like once again, there's only so much you can do. The parents are probably stressed also. Like they're probably trying to do I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. Like they're
Right.
trying to work with their kid at home and everything. But still, like it doesn't matter. All in all, like your kid is your number one and you're gonna, I don't know, take that to your
Oh
deathbed.
God. Yeah. So right
Ride or
now,
die.
Yeah, we're not going through the biting, not with Braxton. We were very fortunate that, knock on wood, he
Yeah.
never went through that stage. But right now, we picked him up, or I picked him up from daycare last week, and he had this like scratch in between his eye, like on his nose, and then he had a scratch on his eye.
Who
Well,
did it?
and at first I was like, because his daycare provider, she's like, I'm not really sure what happened.
Right.
One, because he has scratched his own self before, and if
Right.
he was
Right.
napping or playing or whatever. So I was like, oh, I don't know. We'll get down to the bottom of it. So I asked him. I said, hey, what happened? Thinking that he would be like, oh, I don't know. I just fell, or I scratched
Mhm.
myself, or whatever.
Did he
Well,
tell you?
he did. He told us a kid did this. And so we've been kind of having a conversation, with him, saying, I don't want to sit here and make him be a tattletale, but I said,
At this age, though, I think it's appropriate,
yeah.
right?
Well, and especially if, let's say his teacher wasn't around and she didn't actually see
Right.
the accident happen,
Right.
or incident, who knows if it was an accident. But so, he gave us this kid's name, and we said, okay, well, if they do that again to you, make sure you tell them, please don't scratch me. I don't want
Right.
to be scratched. And then if your teacher is not around, please go and tell whoever is there and say, hey, I got scratched, blah, blah, blah. Because if it continues to happen, because Austin was like, so are you going to talk to them to kind of let them know that Braxton, said this? And I said, I don't know if I'm going to say it yet, just because obviously they weren't aware of it. They don't know. But if he comes home with multiple scratches all the time, then hell yeah, I'm going to be like, okay, listen. My
Yeah.
child is saying, well, because then we were talking to him and he said the kid's name. They said they're allowed to scratch. And I was like, oh, absolutely not. They're not allowed to scratch. And I don't care if they scratch at home, but
What's
they're
his
not
name?
scratching you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not a boy, it's a little girl. So, yeah.
What's her name?
I know. So we kind of been saying that, hey, if she comes up to you and you get scratched, we understand, if it's an accident, and we get it. But if he's coming home with scratches every day, every other
Yeah.
day, something is going on. And I'm not dealing with that. My kid's not coming home with
Right.
scratches, all up and down his
Yeah.
body. Because I noticed it on his like legs the one time, but they weren't super bad, so I didn't know if maybe he was scratching his legs.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was, I mean, it was pretty big. You could see it, when you were just walking up to him. So I noticed it right away, and I was waiting to see if
Yeah.
they said something, because I was like, he did not come to school with that scratch.
Right. Right. No, but and that's just awful. But it's like, once again, I mean, you can only teach your kid, how to react in the situation. Like
Right.
because Liv got bit at the temporary school that she was at a couple weeks ago too, and I was just like, first of all, like, you've been here like a second, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
What the
like,
hell?
why are you getting bit already? But it like, oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Before I continue with that, the previous biter, the original biter, like, bit her belly at one point, and it broke skin. And I was like, was her dress lifted or something, or her shirt or whatever she was
Yeah.
wearing? I was like, was it lifted? Because it was like broken skin, like a full mouth bite. And I was like, first of all, was her shirt up or dress up, like that it was just skin that was showing,
Yeah.
or like, if he bit through the shirt and still broke that much skin, like, that is not okay. That's not a normal kid bite.
No.
Yeah.
Was it got like shark teeth? Jesus.
I mean, it was insane, like, how bad it was. But yeah, so the temporary school that she was just at, she got bit, and we've been having a lot of conversations with her, like, how do you tell your kid, like, to defend themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you don't want to go straight to violence,
Right.
obviously, but like, we are big believers of, like, okay, first off, you say no, like, and
Mm-hmm.
no means no, and say, ouch, that hurts, don't do that, or
Right.
please don't do that, whatever. You don't even have to say please at that point.
No. Yeah. Not at that point.
Um, Yeah. And so like we keep telling her that. And I said, and if it happens again, like you can get up and walk away. And if it keeps happening, like then you can, I don't know, like push them out of your little comfort
Mhm.
zone and your
Yeah.
personal bubble because that is not okay. I'm not trying to teach my 2-year-old to be violent at everyone, but like when do you draw the line? And
Yeah.
like you never throw the first punch. Also, please don't ever throw punches, my precious little 2-year-old. But like you never lay hands first, but like you can absolutely defend yourself. And I will continue to say that the rest of her life,
Mhm.
and it's like people will walk all over you if you let them.
Exactly. I was just gonna say you have to defend yourself at some point. One, clearly being nice is not working, or
Right.
just walking away is not working. So guess
Right.
what? You want me to bite you back, little kid?
Test me. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh, but it's so hard, especially when if you know which kid did it. It's so difficult to not like talk to the parents or like
Yeah.
say, oh,
Give them mean looks. Listen, kid, try it
like
again.
have you ever seen a kid do something to Braxton that like kind of irked you? Like
Um,
whether it was a shove or a push
I
or
was
like hit
gonna
with a
say
toy intentionally.
yeah, it was more, I think, like shoves out of the way.
Mhm.
It nothing
Which they do
crazy, but
that.
right. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, then you're kind of like, hey, when you're at the playground and there's a million
Mhm.
kids around, and yeah, they like shove them out of the way. You just want to be
Mhm.
like, excuse me, do you know what manners are?
But really, so we were at a birthday party this past weekend. Lovely neighbors, lovely people. Like everyone was so wonderful. But there was this
Hmm.
kid there, and they were in the bounce house, and it was just Liv and this other little girl. And this girl, I think she was a little older than Liv,
Yeah.
but they were taking like balloons into the bounce house, and they were kind of like throwing them up in the air and keeping them off the ground and whatnot. And it was kind of getting close to the time we needed to leave. And so we were kind of wrapping up and whatnot. And Liv was pretty relatively calm at least. And this girl takes one of the hard, like helium aluminum balloons,
Yeah.
and just like smokes her in the face. Like it wasn't like we're laughing about this, we're playing. It was just out of nowhere. Liv was sitting quietly in the corner. She wasn't even bouncing at this point. And she just comes over and smokes Liv. And Matt and I are standing there. We're like, did that just
Did
happen?
she just do that? Oh my
She did it
god.
2 more times. So the second time it knocked because Liv stood up, it knocked Liv over. And like Liv just sat down and she like looked at us and I was like, okay, no, like, and I tried staying very calm. I was like, no, we don't hit, like, but you don't want to correct
Right.
someone else's kid. But like also no one's gonna say anything for my daughter because
Right.
she can talk in sentences, but like, she can't get her point across appropriately yet.
Right.
And so I was just trying to stay calm and I was like, no, we're not gonna hit, like that's not nice. And so then Liv like started, I was like, come on, Liv, let's go, let's separate ourselves. And so Liv started getting up. She chased Liv out and hit her again. I was just like, the audacity.
Oh my god.
This
So
little girl tested me that day. Yeah, but like, what do you do? I
where
can't,
were her
I can't hit,
parents?
I can't hit a 3-year-old and go to
Yeah.
jail.
Right.
Not worth
Were
it.
were her were her parents around?
Yeah, but not paying attention. I mean, they were on the other side of
Yeah.
the yard at that point, just kind of letting their
Yeah.
loose. But like, what a terror.
Yeah, and you guys are standing right there.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure she like looked at us and winked and then smoked.
Oh. God. No.
Yeah. I was quite surprised that that happened and I was just like looked at Matt in disbelief like, "What?"
Yeah, like okay, she is not hanging out with that little girl ever
Mm.
again.
Yeah, yeah. And then I remember another time it was I think we were at school or at a park. I don't know, but there was this boy who came over to her out of nowhere and just shoved her to the ground. And I was
What?
like,
What kind of kids are around your area? Oh my god.
I genuinely don't understand like why that always happens. I think I circle it back to her just being a little petite thing and
Right,
like
right.
an easy target because she's the
Mhm.
smallest or one of the smallest ones.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's accurate, but in my head that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Right. I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah.
People are going to think that she doesn't know how to defend herself. Well, guess what? They're wrong.
Mama bear will.
Right.
One
No.
day jail might be worth it.
Hell
I'm just
yeah.
kidding, everyone. I'm just kidding.
No, you don't fuck with our kids. That's like the
No.
biggest thing.
But I see red when like another kid
Yeah.
fucks her.
Well, and it's hard to. This is what's really kind of scary and nerve wracking. Obviously, a bunch of other things are of being a parent, but getting involved with the other parent, so
Yes. Because you
like
don't know what you're
say,
getting in.
right, are they going to be calm and okay with, you bringing a situation up? Or is it just going to be turn around and be like, well, my kid doesn't do that, like blah, blah, blah.
Yes. And not believe you or not have an adult conversation about like, okay, how
Exactly.
can we move forward from the situation?
Right. However old they may be, I mean, right now, that's definitely something that both parents just need to, okay, this
Right.
is what we're going to do. Stay together, stick together.
Right.
Especially now, you don't freaking know what really happened,
No.
but I am so terrified for that.
Yeah.
And I know once he starts playing sports and stuff,
Oh, it's going to be bad.
I'm a very big, my family is a very big hockey family. And I grew up with hockey. I'm the only girl out of 12 grandkids on my dad's side. So
12, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You said
So 11 boys, 1 girl.
Yeah.
And we're a very big hockey family. So I'm going to be that hockey mom who is probably like screaming and blah, blah, blah. And I'm waiting for the day where my mouth gets me in trouble. If my kid gets hurt.
You will. Like, you'll probably run up to the glass
Yeah.
and like slam on the glass. I can see it now.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, but hockey might be, because Braxton already like plays hockey, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
And like, or practices or whatnot. But like,
Right.
I think that would be good, especially for a boy. Like, get out there and get whatever aggression you want.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's all legal and it's all fair. And you
Exactly.
sit in a penalty box for a little bit if you want, but like,
Yeah.
it's going to jail, let's be honest.
Yeah. Keeps them out of trouble, I guess, in, the real world.
Yeah. But I don't know. So does Braxton do anything where, okay, so if you like acted a certain way after he got hurt and everything, does he ever fake injuries with you?
I guess yes, but it's more of a playful. I will say, and no disrespect to them or whatever, their grandparents. They, grandparents
What's their
think
name?
they can. No, they're Braxton's grandparents.
Oh.
Both sides. So I'm not playing favorites on this. My parents do it too. They think now that they're a grandparent, this kid can do whatever, or you can treat them however. Calling y'all out, sorry. But they used to play, games. Oh, if you get hurt, I'll kiss your boo-boo, whatever. Which is fine. But now sometimes he'll be like, oh, I don't know, stub my toe, which sometimes that hurts. Kiss my toe. I'm not kissing your foot. Or sometimes he'll be like, oh, I need a Band-Aid. I hurt my finger. Let me see it. And he shows it, and there's nothing there. I said, there's no blood. You don't need a Band-Aid. So it's little stuff like that. Or if, he falls, oh, hold me.
Yes. Liv does the same shit. And like the Band-Aid gets me every time because it's like anytime she like bumps into the wall or whatnot, I'm like, let me see the blood. Let me see it. I was like, there better be blood.
Even when I, like the other day, I had to put a Band-Aid on my finger because I'm a freaking bite my fingers until they bleed. So I put a Band-Aid on it, and Braxton, oh, I need a Band-Aid on my finger. Why? And I have to switch. Right, I have to switch up our closet because he knows where the Band-Aids are. He goes right there and he's like, I need a Band-Aid. You don't.
I know. We tried telling Liv like there needs to be blood, like
Mhm.
blood for Band-Aid, or you're just wasting, right?
Right.
But she loves ice cubes or ice in general. So
Yes.
like anytime she bumps or minor scratch or whatever, I need ice. I need ice. And she'll like go to the freezer and open it up and like she'll
Yeah.
get my fucking face ice roller and she'll start she'll like ice cube in a napkin and she'll get super specific on what she needs at that time. I'm like, there better be a bruise in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We always okay, so you know how they always say, again, we don't know who they are, but would say don't really show reaction when your kid gets
Yes.
hurt because
Yeah.
okay, it's not
Like
like
don't feed into it or
yeah,
whatnot.
it's not like I sit here and I'm like freaking out about it, but hey, if he falls, I'm gonna be like, oh, you okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's something like
I mean,
that.
natural though. And like
Yeah.
so, I was listening to another podcast and it was what was it? It was like a neurologist who was
Mhm.
talking about like the brain chemistry of kids and accidents and whatnot. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know how a lot of parents will be like, "No, you're okay, you're okay." But it was a really interesting perspective. And she was saying that um instead of saying, "No, you're okay," because you're telling the kid that they're fine, even though they might not actually be
Right.
fine. And
Makes
like,
sense.
so instead is ask them, are you okay? And try to have them self identify, like, does this hurt or am I actually okay? And like, don't
Mhm.
feed into like, or don't give them like one way or the other, and
Right.
but like instead say, are you okay? And just wait to see what they say. And pending that answer, then like you can do whatever you need. But I
Yeah.
just thought that was really interesting because like we always, at least I remember a lot in like our childhood was, you're fine, and
Yeah.
like there's times I want to do that, but like
Yeah.
I always just try to remember is like, okay, but like what if she's not,
Right.
like what
Yeah.
if on the off chance that she's not?
Yeah.
Now, as soon as she says, "I need ice," I know she's fine because she's a liar.
Or a Band-Aid.
Yeah, like, I will let you know when you need a Band-Aid.
Yeah. We always I mean, I do like the asking because we I do ask, but I do say, "Oh, you're fine." Especially,
Yes,
if it's a little bump, if he like
right.
runs into the wall, and hits his
Mhm,
leg or something, and
mhm.
so then we're always like, "Oh, just rub it. You're fine. It's fine. Whatever."
Yeah,
But that I mean, no, that makes sense 100% because yeah, I mean,
yeah,
if something is wrong and you're saying you're fine, well,
yeah. Do you so I know you said, like, B busted his lip, right before he went to daycare the next day. Do you ever feel a certain way or feel like the daycare provider is, like, going to judge you for bringing in a kid with, like, bumps or bruises or cuts? Like, do you ever get nervous about that?
100%. Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up because I have this in
Yeah.
my notes too. The first, I think it was like the first week he started at his previous daycare. So when we first
Mhm.
started him in daycare, he had scratches on his knees and legs because, of course, he fell down outside on the
Of
sidewalk.
of course.
Well, she did really good at just updating like everything she saw pretty much.
Mhm.
One, just so she had it in her books in case anything, came back on
Mhm.
her. Well, I remember that week she put in the little app, like he's got scratches and stuff all over his legs. I texted her right away when I read that, and I was like, because one, I didn't know if she was kind of like saying, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, telling
Like,
us or
accusing or
asking or
something?
yeah. So I texted her and I was like, he fell yesterday, and I
He fell.
yeah. And then the one time, it was when he busted his lip before he
Yeah.
reopened it at daycare. Austin took him that day, and and Austin told her, what happened at the front door when he was dropping him off, and she she said to him, "Okay, well, let's talk about it." Like, let's ask him. And when Austin told me that, I was like, oh my God, you should 100%.
He
I
was
feel
judging you.
so judged. And
Yes.
I'm like, oh my God, somebody's going to come knocking on our door,
Yes.
investigating us because my
Oh my
child
God.
has.
And that's terrifying.
Oh, so scary.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like these days, which rightfully so, but I feel like it is, there's a lot of sensitivity around,
Oh,
which
yeah.
as it should, like I'm happy there is, but I think it definitely makes me, I can only speak for myself, makes me very anxious. And I know she's in a loving home and like,
Yeah, right.
I know that, but like no one else, unless, I mean, some people know that
Right.
if you're close to us, but like a stranger doesn't know for sure, And so it was the day before we took her to her temporary school, but it was the first day at her temporary school. We have like 2 levels in our backyard where there's like a 3-foot wall that like separates the 2 levels. So it's like the high level and then it drops 3 feet and then it's whatever. She likes to walk along the brick wall, which is fine, but like we always tell her we have to be near her, just in case. Thank God, because Matt was walking with her and I swear to God, this girl's balance is horrible once again. But like she she likes to look up and not watch where she's walking. And as soon as she looks a certain direction, she goes that direction.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, when you're driving, you like turn over your shoulder and you hear, no, just me. So but yeah, so she wasn't looking where she was walking and this girl fell off the brick wall and like scraped her legs to shit. And fortunately Matt was there and like caught her, but like she still got scratched up the day before the daycare. And we're first day is like, hey,
here we are.
Which I'm sure they're used to because they're toddlers, right? But it's still a weird feeling.
Yeah. I'm always grateful when I get, like a text back or in person, hey, kids will be kids, boys will be boys. Okay, cool. I know you're doing your job because you're just, making sure.
Yes.
But to me, you're making me freaking nervous.
Yeah, and the
Please
let's
don't
talk
take
about
my
it comment.
child.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah. No, B is in such a loving home and so is Liv. So
Right. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Right.
But yeah, guilt is real. Toddlers injuring themselves is real. So if you guys haven't hit toddler stage, if you are a parent and have a baby, like just get ready. It never gets better.
It's like you have to have them. Right. You have to have them in like a bubble pretty much.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Like have a foam pit around your house.
What was the movie? Bubble Boy, where he's like just protected. Yeah. I would love to do that for Liv.
100%.
All right. So, did you have any crazy like fails this past week? So, as we start to kind of wrap it up, like what fails did you have, or what moments kind of crushed your soul this last week?
I'm going to go with a mom fail on my end. We were getting in the car the other day and I smoked my knee on the bottom part of the door. So like where the point is of the door. And I said, damn it. But I thought I said it quietly. And all I hear is Braxton, why did you say damn it? And then he proceeded to tell me that I needed to settle down. So
God,
we really try not to say any type of bad word in front of him because he has previously he's picked up everything, and previously he would say such bad words all the time. So we were like,
we haven't hit that yet.
Yeah. So we were like,
months.
okay. Figured we need to chill. Like we really need to just relax on it. But sometimes they slip out, and that one did. And I thought I caught myself and it was quiet. Yeah. Well, clearly the kid is listening no matter what. But yeah, why did you say damn it?
Did your my eyes would have gotten so big, like, oh fuck.
I know. But I mean, Austin kind of just looked at each other and I was like, oh, I said, oh, I'm sorry. I know I said a bad word. I shouldn't have said that. Please don't repeat it. We always have to tell him after. No, you shouldn't repeat it. So don't repeat it.
Say it again.
Right. So,
that's cute fine. Though. It is cute, right?
Right. I know.
It's so hard not to laugh at what they say. And it's like you're not supposed to feed into it. But it is hilarious hearing these little toddlers say such horrendous things sometimes, which like leads me into like my fail was we started doing this thing. Matt's better at it than I am. Whatever. But we say like, okay, if we go to a store, if you listen in a store, like we can get like a little $5 toy or whatever. So that happened. And there was like this little phone toy that she wanted. I was like, okay, cool. And this is more than $5, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I open it up. She's playing with it in the back of the car while we're driving home. And I was trying to talk to her and just talk about her day and everything. And the phone's up to her ear and she's talking in it. And I was like, hey, Liv, like, how are you? You know, how was your day at school? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, Mom, I am talking on the phone. I have never gotten so silent so fast. And I was like driving, but like there was no one coming. So like I look over, I was like, excuse you? I was like, I cracked up. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I was just like, oh my God, she probably picked that up from one of us.
Yeah.
And she is seriously a spitting image of us. And I was like, we really got to be careful with what we do. So yeah, I think that's definitely it. Also a little fun fail, just as parents, that says nothing to do with Liv, except the fact that we got this for her. We bought a swing set and super excited for it, right? The idea of it is, you know, we're going to Hawaii next week or a week and a half, whatever. And we wanted it set up before my mom comes here to watch Liv. And we failed to recognize. We were like, it could come with an assembly package, but you have to pay like $800 just for someone to come assemble it.
Yeah.
We're like, no, we can do this ourselves. Well, we got the boxes yesterday, and I shit you not, there are so many pieces to this swing set. And so our garage is now unusable because we have all the boards and all the hardware and everything just organized and laid out. It's not a small one. And we can put a picture up of all the lumber and garage, but we started working on it today and it is the worst fail ever. We should have just spent the $800 for assembly because I don't know if it's worth the
Why don't you call my dad out? He put Braxton's up. Braxton's isn't massive, but
well, I mean, this isn't massive, but I mean, it's not small,
right?
You know,
right.
But yeah, we were just like, no, we can save $800 and do it ourselves. We're able. Well, we're gonna have a cookout with our neighbors this weekend, and we're just gonna get all the husbands together, and they
perfect,
right? I feel like that's a good option. But
I agree.
Yeah, so that's our little fails.
Well, good luck with that. Hopefully it gets up.
Thanks. Stop cussing so much around me.
Well, everyone, thank you all so much for joining us on today's episode. We love the reach outs. We love when people share stories with us. So let us know your stories. Let us know what you want to talk about. We're open books, so anything is fair game.
You guys can find us on Instagram at Loud Moms Lair Podcast. You can listen to us on Spotify at Loud Moms Lair channel, and then same on YouTube. You can watch our videos and just search, once again, Loud Moms Lair. And then you can also watch old episodes.
Yeah. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.